The Joseph series, story number 11. Joseph tests his brothers. Taken from Genesis chapter 44, verses 1 through 13. As the previous story came to a close, the noon meal was about to be served in Joseph's home. Imagine the brothers' surprise when they were welcomed as honored guests into this powerful Egyptian ruler's house. What had caused such a dramatic change? Wasn't this the same man who had accused them of being spies during their last visit? Had he not put them in prison for 3 days and threatened them with slavery? Now they were sitting in his home and being served the finest food Egypt had to offer. Although the differences in culture and status did not allow the brothers to sit at Joseph's table, they were still allowed to eat in his presence, with food served directly from the ruler's table. But the biggest surprise occurred when they were seated at their table. Each of the brothers was seated in perfect birth order, starting with Reuben, the firstborn, and ending with Benjamin. And Benjamin had apparently become the ruler's favorite. Although each of the brothers was treated with generosity and kindness, Benjamin was given 5 times as much as his older brothers. But I doubt it mattered. It looked as if all their troubles were behind them. Imagine the relief the brothers must have felt when the grain they so desperately needed was finally loaded onto their donkeys, and they were free to return home. Imagine Judah's relief, knowing he was returning to his father not just with Benjamin, but Simeon as well. One more night in Egypt, and they could go home. Now the story continues. Then Joseph commanded the steward of his house, "I want you to fill the men's sacks with food. Pack in as much as they can carry, and put each brother's money back in the mouth of his sack. But I want you to take my cup, the silver one, and put it in the mouth of the youngest brother's sack, right next to the money he paid for his grain." And the steward did everything Joseph told him. As soon as it was light the next morning, the men were released with their donkeys to return home. They had gone just a short distance from the city when Joseph said to his steward, "Get up and chase after these men, and when you catch up with them, tell them, 'Why have you repaid our kindness with evil? Why did you steal my Lord's cup, the one he drinks from, the one he uses to tell the future? What you have done is evil.'" When the steward caught up with the brothers, he said exactly what Joseph told him. But the brothers replied, "Why would you say such a thing, my lord? Your servants would never do something like that. Listen, do you remember the money that we found in the mouth of our sacks last time? We brought it back to you, all the way from the land of Canaan. What makes you think any of us would steal silver or gold from your master's house? If you find this silver cup in our things, you can kill whoever has it, and the rest of us will serve your master as slaves." And the steward replied, "This is how it will be. The one who has the silver cup will become my slave. The rest of you will prove your innocence and be free to go." Then each of the brothers quickly took down his sack and put it on the ground, and each of them opened his grain sack, and the steward searched. He opened Reuben's sack first, going from one to another until he came to the youngest, and the silver cup was found in Benjamin's sack. The brothers tore their clothes in sorrow. Then they loaded their grain back onto their donkeys, and all of them went back into the city. The Joseph series, story number 11. Joseph tests his brothers. Taken from Genesis chapter 44, verses 1 through 13.